What we're going to do now, very, very quickly, is I want to connect the dots and kind of give you a bird's eye view of the methodological process that we took you through over the last 48 hours, at least with regards to the model of the value orientation. And then we want to culminate with a demonstration of the end product that every group created. We took this concept and we started at a bird's eye level. We said, okay, let's look at what the industry is going through. Let's look at what our customers need. Start at the top. Start far away. There is no panaya yet. Let's just understand, what do our potential clients need? Then we lost a little bit of altitude. We started bringing it a bit down, and we said, okay, what can panaya offer? So when we did what the market needs, we took the dashboards, we told you to take one of the accounts, and we said, study this client, see what they need. Then we lost altitude, took a second level, and said, okay, what can panaya offer? And that was the round table we did. And in spite of the fact that the room was difficult and the acoustics were difficult, you guys actually came away with a very, very good outcome from these tables, for the most part. And then we said, okay, now we understand at the panaya level what it means to be value-oriented. What does it mean at my level? What does it mean for me as pre-sales? What does it mean for me as sales? What does it mean for me as marketing? What does it mean for me as HR? There is something huge about the fact that this sales kickoff includes functions that are not just sales, because it takes a village to basically achieve the kind of goals that we're trying to achieve. It allows us to adopt a customer-centric, highly specific approach, in contrast with a generic, these are the features we offer, these are the products we can. It's very different than in a regular trade show. It's very customized. What are the 4 variables that we need to look at when it comes to value orientation? Shoot them in the right order. Business operational values, that's 1. Challenges, obstacles, that's number 2. Solutions is number 3. And resources is number 4. And understanding these 4 variables and understanding the right logical sequence of these 4 variables is very much similar to having the numbers to a safe. You need to have the right numbers and you need to feed them in the right logical sequence. Having one without the other will not help you. And value orientation is about 4 key behaviors. Behavior number 1, listen for value. Suspend your own needs and your own orientations. Just pay attention to what the other people are saying and what would they consider to be valuable. Behavior number 2, think value. Reverse engineer from whatever it is that they need back to yourself and ask yourself, do I have anything to contribute? Number 3, communicate value. When you present what you have to contribute, don't start from your place out, start from outside in. Something to the effect of, the purpose of this meeting, or of this call, or of this email, is to discuss how we can help you achieve these goals in context of these obstacles. Here's what we have to offer. That's communicating value. And finally, acting value. Acting value means prioritizing your daily tasks around those tasks that create the most value for the most important clients. Prioritization is one of the biggest decision-making challenges for people in the 21st century because there's simply too many things to do and not enough time to do it. And so there's constantly a challenge of, what am I going to do next? Am I going to respond to what yells louder? Am I going to respond to what's closer to my comfort zone? Or am I going to respond in a way that maximizes the yield of my effort? Now what we want to do is we want to celebrate the product of your work over the last 2 days. So I want you to get back into your value dashboard teams. I want you to find the logo of the account that you were working on, and I want you to gather around. What we want to have done in the next 3 minutes, we want to turn this entire room into a trade show-like gallery of booths, right? So you're going to be sitting all around. You see, these are the logos. Find your logo, bring your dashboard with you, and with your team that built that dashboard, stand by it and await further instructions. So I have to share some behind-the-scenes trivia with you from the world of training. Every time you ask for volunteers, people discover for the first time, it doesn't matter if it's the 4th day of the conference, how amazing the carpets are. What an amazing job they did. And then you have 3 types of people in the audience. You have the ones who volunteer, which I love. They make my life easy. You have the people who I have to point to and say, please do this. And the worst kind, what's the worst kind? No, those who are like, he wants to present. And if you have somebody like that in your team, tough luck for you, because you were pointed at. Number one, when we start a conversation or a presentation with a client with a macro perspective of the company's needs, the message we're sending them is that we did our homework. The message is sending that we see ourselves as committed to the business strategy of the business, even if it's beyond the immediate intervention of our solution. So there's a message here. Number two, when we deliver this message to a buyer in the company, the more baked it is for them to then upsell it into the company, the better. We might actually be making our stakeholder look good in the company by delivering something that they can take to their higher level and say the same. They may not have done the research we have. And so we are superimposing and augmenting their capabilities to be more strategic and more powerful in the business. And they're the third reason. What's the third reason?
All of these initiatives require technology to support.
They all require technology, and they all represent bigger potential than the boundaries defined to us by the specific buying center that we're talking to. Because they are probably solution-oriented. They have a need, they want it answered, they want water. And maybe it's not water, maybe what they need is really important. But they're thinking within their box, and I'm not judging. We all do that because we're very busy. But if we can go out and look beyond that box, there might be additional business opportunity for us. Who knows? We may decide that as part of hunting this animal, we're going to actually, next time there's a crisis, we're going to go in and help them and donate and support because we know that's part of their corporate value, and we want to show them that we are part of that value. So there's so many reasons why looking at this big picture is valuable, even if it's a little bit more time-consuming. What was one of the biggest challenges you groups faced yesterday? How do you bring it back? Because you can't just have that content for the client, right? They're expecting something. So imagine walking into the client with the following structured message that said, we understand that your high-level goals as a company are these, 1, 2, 3. This is where your ship is going. We also understand that some of the key challenges that come with that direction are A, B, and C. In your world, Mr. Buying Center, you are challenged with A, B, and C in this context. And we are here to talk to you about how we can answer the specific question of compliance. We have 3 different offerings that we're happy to talk about. That framing of the conversation anchors your position in the mind of the client even before they hear the features. Even before they look at the product, the one thing that should be blowing in their head is, this person is relevant to me. They're relevant. If you meet the relevance test, that's it. You're in that square of high attention and high access. On the one hand, we want to create a very rich top of funnel. Very, very important to create a rich top of funnel. Why? Because when you have a rich enough top of funnel, you can manage unexpected changes, slippage, political developments at a client, a key stakeholder you've been cultivating for 2 years before a deal, or for 1 year, for a $2 million deal. He gets fired, she gets fired, something happens. So you need a good top of funnel. That makes you run after as many opportunities as you can. On the other hand, if you run after as many opportunities as you can, and you don't have a good early indicating mechanism to know, should I push forward here or not, that may lead to lack of efficiency in your time management. You may be left with less valuable opportunities top of funnel. Also, there's something very powerful and trust building to sit in front of a client and say, look, A, we want to validate with you that these are in fact the values that you're interested in. This is what we think you want. Are we right? Number 2, if they say no, or these are different obstacles, or our priorities are there, you might say, I got to be honest with you. I'm not sure we're the right solution for you right now. I think maybe in 4 months we would be, but I've identified some things that we might be able to be helpful with you. We know some people. Would you like me to make some introductions? And so on and so forth. So you can constantly establish that relationship, deprioritize one thing, move to the other, and really sustain a better top of funnel. I can't tell you how thrilled I am with how well you understood the concept of defining an obstacle correctly. It is one of the slippier components of this model. It's so easy to define obstacles incorrectly, and then you send yourself on a goose chase. So I'm thrilled. This goes to all the groups. You really did a good job identifying the obstacles. I hope what you're getting from this experience is how remarkably powerful it can be to sharpen your pencil with somebody inside before you go to the client. How valuable it can be to get somebody on the outside to look at your approach, to look at your vantage point and say, wait a minute, but what about this and what about this? And so it could be very difficult, but if you have a simple single slide framework that lets you look at a company of any size, you could do this for Ford, you could do this for an internal division in Ford, you could do it for Verizon, You come up and you say, I want to show you a single slide overview of the account I'm dealing with, and I want to run by you the approach that I'm planning on going. What do you think? And so this doesn't even have to slow you down, because I know we're all running like rabbits, and I know that the idea of taking time out and calling another colleague in the company, given how hard you all work, seems like a theoretical distraction. But in fact, it might actually save you dozens of hours, because if you fine-tune the value proposition well to the specific buying center of a specific company, you may actually be reducing a sales cycle dramatically in a way that is a huge return on investment for the extra hour or two that you spent ahead of time speaking with somebody else across the company. And what you see here in this room is the community of people who could help you no matter where they are in the world, no matter what region they belong to. It's only a matter of you being a node in the network, proactively deciding to capture another, to connect with another node in the network. Now, I want to ask one more thing about this. So far, we've been looking at the value dashboard from the perspective of having a better, more strategic view to the client and being able to create better buy-in by the client. I actually want to see if we might actually extract an additional value from this approach. How might this dashboard help you? And I ask this question to everybody, even though you have the mic. How might this dashboard help you engage with marketing? How, if at all, do you think that creating a dashboard like this might in any way assist you in recruiting assistance internally from other key interfaces in the company? It could be marketing, it could be HR, it could be finance. How might this assist?
I think with marketing, you can go to Rafi and you can build a very strategic account-based marketing plan with the exact values that they're looking for. So as opposed to just blasting out our generic information, you have the exact information, the exact value propositions that you want to make to this company, and you can have Rafi and his team deliver that on a weekly, whatever, monthly cadence to them.
Now, Rafi, let me ask, yeah, go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I would go back to some of the comments made earlier where you see the connection of how businesses run on a large scale in today's world, with the domino being the trigger or the reinforcement to forward of where they're going and where they want to be. So maybe they had 5 options and this sent them in one direction or another. We can find commonality in the industry that way, and marketing can help us build a point of view white paper or theme that we can take to the marketplace and share with different companies.
Okay, let me challenge you some more, and I'm opening this up to everybody. How can this help you with HR?
Yeah.
I think that you all have the power to extract tenfold more value from the various support organizations in the business by presenting to them your needs in a value-oriented way. Marketing and HR and finance, they have a toolkit rich with capabilities. And unless they're told, this is currently my focus, they're going to continue working and generating those toolkit on a focus that is more professional-centric than account-centric. Now, if enough of you go to marketing with these dashboards, they will then be able to see the trees. If enough of you go to HR, they can maybe anticipate hiring requirements, relocation capabilities, right? If you go to finance with this ahead of time, they might be able to look at multiple dashboards and say, well, I understand why we might need to get a discount here, or I understand why we might change the terms of payment because we understand how it plays in. And so what happens is we're building a bridge across different organizations inside the company that otherwise might find themselves in operational conflict because they're measured by different operational KPIs. But the one thing that overarches all operational KPIs is the value, and once you create that bridge, you can create tremendous synergy inside the organization.